We are live.
Are you English? Senate Appropriations, May 21st. We're going over Bill H 542 about PCV testing in schools. We heard testimony, we heard information about it. Whenever that was 2 days ago. I don't know if people, did Ezra send this email to everybody? Yeah. I could ask Ezra himself. It's here. Okay, so we had Ezra asked these. He answered the questions that we had about estimates and the average costs and things like that. Also, we had asked Health and Welfare to look into it. They had met shortly, and my understanding is that they agreed with the finance position on the extension of the. Were you in there for that?
Yes, they took a straw vote to support the extension to 2035. They didn't really address the underlying Senate education report on the special fund and construction. Senator Gulick said she wanted that from the very beginning, in 2021, but there wasn't total consensus on the rest of the report, just on the extension.
Okay.
Senator Benson had the lead. So,
okay. So I think that unless there's other questions that are out there, that's really the only thing we're waiting for, if I remember.
Did we hear how much was in the environmental contingency?
Is that on here? Yes. Yeah. 3.17. No. Yeah. Do you want to say anything about it?
Yeah, that's Raul from Joint Fiscal Office. Yeah, to clarify, the 3.17 is the unobligated available funds. The fund has more in it, but that's been reserved for other purposes. So that's what this may.
And are these eligible uses from the fund, or we'd have to legislatively say that this is an eligible use?
I can't answer that.
We've drawn from it before. I just don't know what's language.
So definitely for any release of PCB that's found, the environmental contingency fund is authorized for that, and it's likely authorized for investigation as well when there's effectively a known use of PCBs at a school, which pretty much every school freely has a suspected use of PCBs.
So would A&R can they just draw from it, or do they have to make a request to draw from it?
They have the ability to spend money from the PCF on their own, but they generally reserve it for specific hazardous materials releases because, as we just said, there's not that much that's unencumbered or unallocated already, and so they like to have a buffer. So if something like an oil spill happens or PFOA is found somewhere, they have the ability to respond without coming from the General Assembly for just.
Okay. Senator Lyons, we heard from Mr. Brady briefly about your straw poll in your committee. Is there anything else you want to say?
No, we don't have time for our committee to go through a thorough analysis and review of the PCB testing. Michael Grady gave us a great review. It was very helpful. And I think Senator Gulick was there, who's been very much engaged in this. We agree that keeping the testing going is important. With or without a fund that has lots of money in it, but knowing that it should happen and we can't let it drop. So we would endorse we call it the F-35 amendment from finance to go to 2035. F-35.
I have objections to the name, but not the policy.
No, we felt that the continuing opportunity for testing, should funds be available, is important. And I did see the analysis. I got an email about how much it will cost for the testing. Yeah, that I just got that. And so if there's money available, can happen, knowing, yes, then repairs have to happen, we don't have a capital budget for capital improvements, but, we don't need to keep this stuff out in the hallways in the schools.
And it sounds like there is the money in the fund.
Yeah.
And ANR can make use of that. Did you have another suggestion for funding yesterday?
Just the contingency list,
Oh, right.
you know, if it was first or second on that list, probably get. But I know we already have the things slated for that.
Right. Okay. Any other questions? Concerns?
I do have a question, maybe it's for Mr. O'Grady. I'm recalling seeing this, from Elaine called the superintendent school, North Country Union High School, where they have been doing testing. She said by the end of June, we spent approximately 9.2 million on PCB remediation mitigation efforts, with all the 500,000 going to North Country High School. And we haven't actually gotten rid of any PCBs yet. $9.2 million and I haven't even addressed getting rid of any PCBs yet. So what does that mean? Like, will we testing finally or not? Addressing the problem, or what does that mean?
One of the things one of the ways to respond to high levels of PCBs in air is to try to mitigate it, encapsulate it, to put it in measures such as fans or ducting or things of that type that reduce the levels below the action levels that have been determined to be harmful to there's 3 action levels depending on your age and your exposure. So removing it, that can actually trigger federal requirements, and meaning you have to remove all of it. So if you can mitigate it first and reduce the action levels or reduce below the action levels, that might be more appropriate and actually less costly.
So is there anything on record that somehow we can use from multiple water wells? PCB testing, has anybody suffered from PCB testing in the state of Vermont?
Have they suffered from PCB testing?
PCB you're trying to identify to take out of the schools, and has anybody got sick from this PCBs?
Well, there's actually litigation ongoing. Individual teachers, school employees who claim that their exposure over time has caused multiple health effects.
But nothing concrete as of yet.
I don't know where that litigation is in the process.
Well, I can tell you, going back 15 or more years ago, there was another lawsuit that was settled with, and the terms were not released, but it was settled, and the people were alleging that they had been harmed by environmental factors in the parts that turned out to be incredibly contaminated with PCBs. So I think there is plenty of physical evidence on the ground that people were injured.
The health effects of PCBs have been known for 40 plus years, and the effects that they can have: cancerous, carcinogen, reproductive, endocrine, the list is pretty long. And that's why they have been phased out in almost every use. Electric, railroad, construction, they've been eliminated, but they're persistent, so they stay in the environment.
Could I just clarify something so I understand it better? Maybe with Ezra, in your email, where you say the average inventory cost of a small school is about $77,900. For large schools, 17,000. When you say inventory, are you saying that the testing that needs to be done in all the small schools will amount to maybe it's 7,900. No, 7. It's gotta be 7,000. What does that
actually.
Sure, so this is, and I actually have a little table I can share if you would like me to.
And yeah, that's easy to do.
Yeah.
We like tables. Graphs, figures. Puppet show would be ideal.
No puppet shows. So let's zoom in a little bit here. So this is what A&R provided. I don't know what's happening. There we go. So that is thousands, not millions. So if the school is considered small, and I would have to have A&R or DEC clarify what they consider small, the average inventory cost is $7,918 per school, and then the average sampling cost is $13,270 per school. Those are the figures that they provided me, and as you can see, it increases as the size of the school changes. Again, I can't explain what the cutoff is for small, medium, large.
No, I'm good with that, but what I'm wondering is, what does inventory mean?
So inventory is the pre-sampling assessment. So where they go to a school, they do a site visit, they identify where they want to do the sampling, where there might be sources. It's kind of boots on the ground assessment, and then they put in the sampling equipment to do the sampling over time.
To do it, so you add those two together, that's your cost for that small school.
Yeah.
20.
Well, that's your right pre-results cost.
No remediation.
No remediation, just the testing is complete when you do the sampling costs and two of those numbers together. Okay.
We have like 170 schools.
170 schools left to do sampling. 145 left to do inventories.
And to follow up, the number that we were given yesterday, 4.5, that's in the bill, would cover. What does it? Maybe I'm.
4.5, that was the original appropriation in 2021,
Oh,
right? And that's where the the deadline was set as well. And so it's session law, so I can't really go back and tailor the amendment.
No, I think I didn't read far enough on here. 5.1 that do what we need to do now.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I can't remember if there is money in the bill.
There's no money in the bill. There's reference to the 2021 appropriation because that's where the deadline is.
So if we took money out of the emergency, I mean, the environmental fund, I could probably, it wouldn't even get through all the testing.
Right, and I believe Ezra's email says that A&R's preference is to use whatever money that is appropriated is to bring those schools with excess action levels up to mitigate and remediate where necessary, instead of doing new investigation.
Right. Oh, wait, so there is an appropriation in there?
No appropriation, no money right now.
Created the special fund.
No, so the
The
revenue,
education amendment.
right,
They create that fund.
they create that fund, but
Put it in.
the contemplated revenue source is the recovery from litigation, the ongoing litigation.
So what are we voting on here?
Voting on the past bill, I think amended.
Yeah.
And the bill is as amended by education, which added a special fund that could get money from litigation and postpone the deadline for testing. Then the finance committee will postpone the deadline for testing if further out, 2032.
2035, that's the F.
That's 30 something.
That's how
Because I personally can support the 3.17, it's already which is not obligated for this, as long as we're not putting more money into it at this particular point in time.
We're not, I guess the big question is, are we obligating the state if we do testing? The law says that we will pay for testing or remediation. So if there's testing and they need remediation, we're obligated to pay for it by statute, but we still.
I don't know what that amount is.
Colon plus, if you're actively testing, the minute people find out their school is affected, there's a demand for immediate remediation. So it's not gonna be good to tell your constituents, we'll get to it the next biennial.
Especially because some schools have gotten the remediation, spent that money. So is it fair to tell the other school, we don't have any more money to test, right?
Is it fair to say, well, we just don't know? So.
Right.
When some, I mean, I would hate to think that we've got kids in a school that is dangerous.
Yeah,
And we started with the they started with the youngest children. And are moving up by age group. So prior to this, so of the 170 schools to test, I assume it's more high schools than elementary schools.
Just another question that's probably not in the bill, but what about schools who have been tested and remediated on their own dime? Are they entitled for reimbursement?
Well, the reimbursement is only if you tested under the requirement, the state requirement to test. So if you go out and do your own testing, say you tested under the state requirement and you were underneath the action levels, and then you go out and you test on your own and somehow you find above the action levels. Or what will probably more likely happen is you propose to do construction. And in your construction assessment, it's determined that there are PCB materials present that exceed the federal level. Then you're gonna have to rip them out and dispose of them the way that Burlington did. And then there's a decision about what you do and how you do it.
So the only way you were eligible for reimbursement is if you were tested and you were above the levels.
You're
And
tested
you couldn't-
according to the state program.
according to the state
requirement.
program.
You're
In that case, you wouldn't self-fund it at that point anyway. The state's just
state paying for it.
But you might have to do immediate, like the North Country.
Right, so,
That's exactly what I'm
Have to money on.
right, so you might spend, but then submit for reimbursement.
And they're still in the process of remediation there, or just do avoidance stage.
I know they were in mitigation stage. I don't know if they moved past mitigation.
What's after remediation? What's the next? Step?
Yeah. Removal.
If you can't just treat, you can't just ventilate your way up.
Or encapsulate it.
But in some places, which I think that's what Cabot ended up being able to do in their gym, was just do enough ventilation where they didn't have to remove.
Yeah.
Because it was close. We have this problem with tests coming back. It's kind of different, like.
Right, the results can vary according to temperature. Temperature is a significant.
You can fail, you can do a bunch of work and then, or you can fail by a little bit, do a bunch of work and it could be worse. Just aggravated in school. Okay, people have other questions, concerns? Accolades? Okay, so I'll entertain a motion to pass the bill favorably as amended by the other committees.
So moved.
So what's the bill when we go to?
This is called page 542.
I know the bill number. But thank you.
PCB testing. PCB.
So what are we allocating? 3.17? They're looking at allocating one?
Nobody, there's no money. There's money in that fund, which can be used for this, if A&R so chooses to use it.
Okay.
We're saying that the schools have another bill 2035. they'd be obligated to do the testing. And that A&R shall do the testing. A&R, we're not telling A&R to do the testing on a certain timeline. You know, we're not, what the House proposed was to stop the testing program. If we're disagreeing with that and setting up a special fund that could take funds from a lawsuit, and we're pushing the obligation back more than time, 2035. So we're not allocating any funds.
Ready?
Yeah, do you have comments? You could discuss after the motion is made.
I hate what the House did. I hate this. You know, it's
That's a lot of hate.
well,
Right.
I mean,
you know,
PCBs.
A lot of PCBs.
well, and if a kid gets sick in the future, are we liable?
Especially if we know the harm and we stop testing.
Yes.
And often it's not, sometimes it's not children, it's the staff, because they could be there every day, all day for 20 years. With the child, and just whatever, they're there for 6 years or 40 years.
I agree.
But it is worse for small children. Impact.
This building is built before 1980, wasn't it?
Less.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's good test. Not school. There are school kids. Okay. Without further comment or question, the clerk shall call the roll.
Senator Brew,
Yes.
Senator Brennan, yes. Senator Lyon,
Yes.
Senator Norris,
Reluctantly, then yes.
Senator Watson,
Yes.
Senator Westman,
Yeah.
pardon me?
And
A lot of commentary and stuff.
A lot of hate.
Yeah.
You know what I think about it too, just in general, is who's to say that what we're doing now is any better? Well, we're gonna find out in 10 years. Turns out this other chemical that you've never heard of, it turns out to be super toxic. And the thing that when we replaced it with, you know what I mean? Like the levels of checks on new chemicals pretty much doesn't exist unless it's in your food.
Doesn't exist.
But this is not your food.
not even in the food.
It's not even in the food.
Not
And people are
anything.
like, nah, maybe we shouldn't be doing this. Like, what are the checks on those new?
But the difference.
That's not-
We need to fix Pasco.
Yeah.
We need to fix that.
But the difference.
You just roll back, yes.
Yeah.
Breathe in, roll back the roll back.
Is what?
We absolutely, I can only deal with what I know, and I know.
Spoken like a true reporter.
I know, that's what I thought, Brendan. That sounded like that, that's what I thought. It sounded like somebody that wanted to report the bill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you think
I was looking at you, but then she
I think
said,
that one.
you know, the education.
Somebody just asked if you wanted to report the bill and you said yes.
Schools.
Cool.
I guess, I don't have enough going on.
And once report 10 bills, you might report a lot.
Yeah, it's fine, whatever. I don't know that that's the problem. I think there's other,
Well, there's a lot of
I
problems.
think there's a lot of problems. It maybe not be that one.
There's a lot of problems.
Okay, well, that's the work we have. Tomorrow, we're gonna pick up 772. I want the housing sale. I could make you before too. But the conference committee didn't want to. They don't receive the last one.
But if we get off the floor,
Yeah, you could try to move the conference committee out, but
yeah.
you could be on alert.
I alert everyone. Are we adjourned?